In the English alphabet, the letter M comes right after the letter L, and right before the letter N. It is the 13th letter in sequence, which puts it right dead smack in the middle. Maybe not so ironically, words like mayhem, misery, and messy all begin with the letter M. So what does the letter M have to do with the Detroit Lions? Well, since the Ford family finalized their purchase of the team on one of the darkest days in American history, the letter M has marked this franchise like a magenta letter and has molded the Motor City Kitties into mere merchants of mediocrity for most of the millennium, placing them right dead smack in the middle of the NFL for over 60 years. For Lions fans, the city of Detroit, and the players and coaches who have endured this monstrosity over the years, the meaning of the letter M has meant more than mere melancholy. For example, in 1974, Detroit Lions head coach Don McCafferty died of a heart attack just prior to training camp. A decade later, in 1984, Billy Sims' career ended when he blew out his knee, including a severe tear of his meniscus, versus Minnesota at the Metrodome. In 1991, Lions offensive tackle Mike Utley, in the middle of arguably his finest season, was paralyzed in a freak accident on the field. And in 1999, the Lions' last league MVP and the owner of most Lions rushing records, Barry Sanders, walked away from the game with what many would maintain plenty of methane still left in his motor. But the mishaps, missteps, and misadventures don't end there. In the 2000s, the letter M has also meant meteoric misfortune for this franchise. Coach Bobby Ross resigned in 2000 after an embarrassing loss to Miami. First-round draft choice out of Michigan State, Charles Rogers, suffered major injuries during his first 2 years in the league and was subsequently banned for marijuana use. And all-pro receiver Calvin Johnson walked away from the game altogether in 2016, which seems to fly in the face of this argument, until you consider his nickname. And if you are yet to buy into this marvelous theory, masticate on this. Lions' leadership in the front office since the Fords bought the team has been a veritable masterclass in mismanagement. Over the last 20 years alone, from Matt Millen to Martin Mayhew, the Lions have most certainly suffered when it comes to management. The merry-go-round of Detroit Lions coaches has also been chock full of M's who have helped mislead this machine, leaving fans to wonder if they're seeing an NFL franchise or just a major league mess. While the jury's still in session regarding Matt Patricia's potential as head coach, we cannot forget the many who came before him. There was Monty Clark, whose marginal success is measured by a prayer to his Messiah, a prayer that went unanswered when a mere 43-yard field goal missed off the foot of Eddie Murray. And Gary Moeller, whose success in Michigan was all but a memory after a misdemeanor for drinking too many Mai Tais. Enter Marty Morningweg. Move over for Mariucci. Then make room for Marinelli and his offensive coordinator Mike Martz, all of whom took the helm with a mission, but left us instead with bitter memories. But the magnification of the letter M doesn't end with management. A few players with M in their names have done marvelously for the Lions. Others, it's been mortifying. Especially when you look at the menu of field generals who have had trouble manufacturing merit or medals, like Earl Morrall, Milt Plum, and Bill Munson in the 60s and 70s. or the myriad of other QBs that followed. Of course, the early 90s brought us salvation in the signing of Miami's Scott Mitchell, who led us to 2 early exit playoff appearances in 94 and 95, and of course, his backup Don, the Magic Man, Majkowski. Lest we forget the Mike McMahon experience. It wasn't until 2009 that the team drafted a quarterback who we can only hope will someday break the curse of the M's and lead us out of the middle of the pack, past the monsters of the Midway, and motoring past Minnesota for league magnificence. Should we be worried that his name is Matthew Stafford? In the meantime, if I can only leave you with a couple of thoughts on this miserable theory on my main men, it would be the following. 1. Martha Ford is now the acting owner of the Detroit Lions, and her initials are MF. And 2. The most successful of all Detroit Lions coaches in my lifetime is a one Wayne Fonts. His name starts with a W, and as we all know, a W is simply an M turned upside down.